Hi everyone, and welcome to Billy Fitzgerald Golf. And yes, it's that time of year where we need to review everything that we can do before we start the motion in the golf swing. So that's called grip, posture, alignment, or PGA for us golf professionals that we like to call it. So this first video, we're going to start out with your grip. So your grip is obviously very important. It controls the club face, and the club face controls the ball. So we better have an idea of how our hands are on the golf club. So to start out, we're going to start out with the left hand, and then we'll go to the right, and how they pretty much form and merge to work with each other as one unit. So with your left hand or lead hand, what that does is stabilizes the face and squares the face at impact. So we have to find a grip that not only our joints align with, but is very stable at impact, and it helps us square the face. So many times I work with this lead hand grip because it causes so many difficulties in the swing because it's not on the club properly, in my opinion. So to start off, what you've read in magazines of or seen on videos of your palms facing is a neutral grip. And again, in my opinion, is one of the biggest destroyers of someone's golf game is to put your hands palms facing. Now, yes, I agree with putting, with chipping, because we don't want a lot of up and down. We don't want our wrists very active, but our wrists play an important part in this golf swing. So with your left hand, if I again just set up and I let my arms hang, again, I'm just talking about my left. When my arm hangs, you can see how it hangs inward. Okay, that's how my joints align. So why is that such a big deal? Well, when we come down into impact, the weight of this golf club is going to pull on my arm. The force of the golf club is going to pull on my left arm, and my left arm is going to get pulled straight. And when it gets pulled straight, my joints, this shoulder is going to be high, and my joints are going to line up how my arm naturally hangs in its shoulder socket. It's just joint alignment. So if I get my hands on the club and my hand is this way, okay, square, and I come down into impact and my arm gets pulled on by the face of this club and it pulls my arm like this, how my joints are aligned, the face is wide open. And now this arm has to get real high and try to square the face or somewhere else. I've got to try to get the face square somehow. Again, that's why I see a lot of over-the-top swings. Your lead hand grip is too weak, so we're dying to square the face and twist the face to try to get the ball to go straight. Now, here's what I want you to do, is you're going to put your grip right in your fingers, okay? It doesn't go in your palm. It goes right in your fingers, and if I was going to err, I would say more into your fingertips. Okay, so the grip is going to go right into your fingertips, and your hand is going to work right on top. Okay, so what that does is it gives me a very strong and solid placement in my hand to work with into the ball. Again, if I were holding a baseball bat, I would want to hit this with something solid right here. Again, so those joints align, and this can take the force of the baseball running into the bat, not this. If I were to do this and try to hit a baseball like this, see my wrist is so weak, I would do it one time and be over with. So again, that's going to be a very strong setup in arm placement and hand placement when you hit the golf ball. So again, with the face of the club, the leading edge is going to run up the shaft line. So the toe is going to be just slightly behind the heel, because when it pulls on my arm, there's going to be a slight twisting in the face, just very little. It's not all of this, okay? But there is going to be a little bit of twisting. So again, toes just behind the heel and then into my fingers, and my hand wraps on top. Now another thing, when you do that, what we're looking for, and you may get tight when you do this at first, but your arm has to be fairly loose when you do this, and it may take a little bit. I've done this a lot, so it's easy for me to just get it in the fingers and then just get my hand over. What it's not doing is me getting in the fingers and then putting all my force in my arm and my shoulder to get my hand way over there. Okay, it's just in my fingers, and then my hand wraps over top. Now, a couple ways to help you with this is that you can get the club right by your side, lay it in your fingers, and then your hand again wraps on top. So again, just how it sits in my arm, in my shoulder socket, in the fingers and over. All of a sudden we've got this lever. So when we look at it from down the line, this is my chopper. So it levers back and hits. Levers back and hits. So this is a very strong point, and it's gonna help square the face. So again, once we get the left hand on there, and now we go back to impact, right? So this is gonna push out of the way. The weight of the club is gonna go down into the ball, and my arm is gonna get pulled by the weight in the club, and my joints are gonna line. Now the face is square. Now we're getting somewhere. So again, left hand, how my arm hangs in the fingers and over. Now all of a sudden I've created this lever that can work. So let's get to the trail hand. If the lead hand is not on the club right, I can promise you this trail hand is going to be very hard for it to work, because it's going to be constantly trying to square the face up. So this is my thrower. Now, so this right arm is going to be able to go back and forth this way. Let's take a minute and to look at just a glimpse at what impact looks like. So if I get my hands on the golf club correctly, again, with that left arm, the weight in the club pulls down, it squares the face. Now look what my right arm can do. My right arm can get right on the back of the shaft and provide pressure into the shaft. Now I can compress the golf ball. This is where my arm needs to be in order to compress the ball, is right on the back of the shaft. Again, it's very hard to do that if my lead hand isn't on the club correctly. So with my trail hand, again, we already know that it wants to be on the back of the shaft here. My trail hand is going to mimic the face of the club. So if I have the face square down there, my hand is going to get, again, mimicking the face of the club, not on top, not underneath. It needs to go right on the side. So how it fits in with my left hand is this thumb and this lifeline right here are going to join together, okay? So now as I have a hit, I have something solid to compress the ball, compress the shaft. That's how we get from what we're doing into the club, into the back of the ball. This arm needs to be able to line up with this shaft. Again, just like in baseball, it works exactly the same. I hit, and this arm lines up with this shaft, but I just do it down here. If I were to hit a baseball bat onto a tree, there's impact. Now I hit a golf ball, there's impact right here. So again, both hands have to be on the club correctly in order for this to work. If my left hand was weak, this right hand would be going nuts, because now this left hand can't square the face, so this arm is constantly doing this. Another reason why our left hand needs to go on the club correctly. If I get my hand this way, this is what I see a lot of, really weak grips. There's two ways I can go about this, taking the club away. I can bend my hand this way, okay, which puts strain on my joints, or I can put my arm into joint alignments, okay, which is naturally what my hand wants to do. So if I get ready to go and my hand's weak and I put it in joint alignment, see, it opens the face way up. So if I get my left hand on there, get my right hand, again, my right hand is going to go right on the side, and that is going to go right in my thumb is going to go right in my lifeline here. Right on the side, right in my lifeline here. So now, I would even go to take one step further, is to when we set the club down into the ball, we set our hands. So I don't want to see any of hands really low, okay? Your hands aren't low when you hit the ball because of the force of the club going into the ball. So we don't want to have that big variance. So get your your hands on your golf club correctly. And when we set the club down, I like to let the club set so this becomes flat, not cupped, but flat. So if I set up, here I'm set up, here I'm at impact. So you can see there's not a big variance. So again, make sure that your hands are on the club properly. It'll make it much easier for you to work the face back and forth. So now I start feeling how my right hand works, just like I would throw a ball. Wouldn't throw a ball like this, twisting it. I throw a ball like this. The amount of timing, and I have to slow my hand down when I twist my arm like this to even make the ball go anywhere I want. Here I can go as fast as I want. It's the same thing in here. Get your left hand on it correctly. Again, in the fingers, my hand goes over. This hand goes right on the side. And all of a sudden, when you swing back, the face is square, which is that leading edge matches my spine angle into the ball. As I exit, the face of the club matches my spine angle again. So the face of the club is working 90 degrees to that swing arc. When you swing a golf club, we are working on a tilted circle. So I would rather keep the face of the club square to that tilted circle, which is easier with the correct grip, rather than the face opening, constantly opening and closing in relationship to that tilted circle. That's all done by the grip. So make sure that your hands are on the club right, and the easiest way to do it without getting a club in your hands at first is just put your hands like this. So again, how this hangs, get your lifeline, this comes right into here, and make some swings this way. This is what it's gonna feel like. This hand chops, this hand throws. Now, one thing before we leave here today is that if you're having trouble getting the golf club in the fingers, that's where it needs to be. Hold the golf club up in front of you. So now it makes it easier for me to feel the weight in the golf club. I can put it in the fingers, so my hands go left hand on top, right hand on the side. And now I set the club down. And now I can start to feel how my hands work through the strike. So, get your hands on the club properly. It'll be much easier to control the face, square the face, much more solid shots. You're gonna thank yourself in the long run. It's grip change can be difficult, but after a week, I know you're gonna get used to it. You're gonna see benefits out of this right away. It's gonna help your entire swing. So, get your hands on it right and go have some fun. Hi everyone, like and subscribe to my channel, Billy Fitzgerald Golf, for all tips on golf. If you'd like a live lesson or want to send me a message, visit me at billyfitzgeraldgolf.com.